Hey howdy hey, how is everybody doing, and welcome back to Disney Daily. So today I'm going to be doing a very short review on the newest Disney Plus movie Godmothered, which just came out last night. And I would say it's a cute, funny, quirky, magical movie. It just is a feel-good movie, very wholesome. I would say it's the perfect movie to throw on for like family movie night. On a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being very poor, 10 being phenomenal, I would say it's about a 5-6. There were parts that were really great and funny, hilarious, and there were parts that were a little bit on the slower side. If you're somebody who's more into action, then I would definitely say this is probably not the movie for you. But if you love fairy tales, then I would definitely say give it a go. So I'm gonna kind of go into the story a little bit more. So definitely I would say this is probably more of the spoiler part. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, turn away now. Right away, we are introduced to this land called the Motherland, and that is where all the fairy godmothers are from. And the main one that we get to meet right away in the movie is named Eleanor. And so Eleanor attends basically it's like a fairy godmother school, academy, and she's there to be a fairy godmother. And it very much reminded me of like Hogwarts, where obviously all the witches and wizards, they have to go to class and they're, building on their skills to become better wizards and witches. So it's basically like that, where fairy godmothers have to go to school and they have to learn how to use their magic. So we see Eleanor and she's really excited to be a fairy godmother. This is something that she's always wanted, and we basically learn that the school is going to be shutting down because human beings don't believe in happily ever afters anymore. There's no need for the school, so therefore there's no need for fairy godmothers. And Eleanor finds out that all of the fairy godmothers are actually going to basically transition into tooth fairies. So she's obviously very devastated by this, and she's determined to make a happily ever after happen so that she can prove that fairy godmothers are still very much needed. So she actually goes into this like private secluded area where there are all these assignments, and all these assignments are letters from children who, wanted a wish, or like a happily ever after, basically. So she ends up stumbling upon a letter from a little girl named Mackenzie. And Mackenzie basically in her letter writes, I really want to get this attention of this boy. And so Eleanor goes, okay, jackpot. I'm going to help this Mackenzie. And so she heads basically into the human world. And what's really important about it, though, is that she does have a time limit where she has to return. Otherwise, basically, the portal kind of shuts. And she won't be able to come back, and fairy godmother is off the table. So she goes into the human world and she has to hunt down Mackenzie, and she eventually hunts down Mackenzie, but it turns out it's not little girl Mackenzie anymore. This is like 20 years later down the road Mackenzie, who has obviously forgotten all about the letter that she sent. So at first, it's kind of funny because she doesn't believe that, she's a fairy godmother, and Mackenzie is very much, just kind of angry and mad at the world. She doesn't believe in fairy tales, and she doesn't believe in a happily ever after. And she kind of takes in Eleanor, even though she's very hesitant because she thinks she's a little kooky. And anyway, so I'm not going to go into every single scene, but the ending, I will say that there's a little bit of a twist to our typical idea of a happily ever after. So I like how they wrote it a little bit differently, and I like it. But other than that, I don't really have much to say. For those of you who have seen the movie already, go ahead and leave your opinion down in the comments. I definitely want to hear from you. As always, thanks for being my guest here at Disney Daily. Until next time.